Hello there, and welcome to you and all to Yahuah's Call with yours truly, Myra Waiters. Are not we living in the end hour? I think at this point we can say it's the last hour instead of the last days. So we're going to get right into our subject. Since it's so near the end, I'd like to make this uh, message. I call it the rapture. No, not really. You know me. It's not the rapture, but endurance. No, not the rapture, but endurance. That's what we're going to talk about today. If you will go with me into your Pseudepigrapha, I'd like you to go into Second Esdras. That's in your Pseudepigrapha. And we're going to go into Second Esdras. And I believe it's around page 723. At least it is or if not, just find it on your own, different one. All right, Second Esdras. We're going to begin in the 13th chapter, and we're going to go into verse 1. And it came to pass after 7 days, I dreamed a dream by night. This is Esdras or Ezra talking. And lo, there arose a wind from the sea, that it moved all the waves thereof. It moved the waters. And I beheld, and lo, that man waxed strong. That man, underline that in your scripture, that man waxed strong with the thousands of heaven. The thousands of heaven, the entourage of messengers or angels, as some people call them, the mighty messengers of the Most High surrounded him. And when he turned his countenance to look, all the things trembled that were seen under him. Verse 4. And whensoever the voice went out of his mouth, all they burned that heard his voice. So, those things that were beneath him, those things of this earth, they began to hear his voice. As his voice went forth, they began to feel heat and fire. They burned, like as the earth falleth when it feeleth the fire. Verse 5. And after this I beheld, and lo, there was gathered together a multitude of men, out of number, from the four winds of the earth, to subdue the man that came out of the sea. But I beheld, and lo, he had graved himself or carved out for himself a great mountain, and flew up upon it. But I would have seen the region or the place without the hill was graven or carved. In other words, I couldn't get a full picture of the area because of the mountain that was carved out, and I could not. And after this I beheld, and lo, all they which were gathered together to subdue him were sore afraid, and yet dureth fight. So we're talking about Yahuah here, coming up from the sea. And the sea, not meaning the Atlantic or the Pacific Oceans, all right? But this is a metaphoric view of the Messiah coming up out of the thousands upon thousands upon thousands that he has saved. We are the many waters. He comes from the sea. And lo, in verse 9, as he saw the violence of the multitude, he saw what they wanted to perpetrate against him that came. He neither lifted up his hand nor did he get a weapon or sword, it says, but a weapon, nor did he use any instrument of war. He didn't need radar, he didn't need nuclear weapons, he didn't need anything. But only I saw that he sent out of his mouth, as it had been a blast of fire. And out of his lips a flaming breath, and out of his tongue he cast out sparks and tempest, metaphoric, the power of the word. The power of the word. In verse 11 it says, and they were all mixed together. So these were all different peoples from different continents, from different tongues, from different ethnicities, nations. The blast of fire, the flaming breath, and the great tempest. You talk about a hurricane. That word is powerful when he opens his mouth to judge. It is nothing you've ever seen. And fell with violence upon the multitude which was prepared to fight. So his word is what turned to violence. And it fell upon this great multitude of these wicked nations and leaders and peoples and tongues and kindreds. And what had happened? It burned them up, every one. So that upon a sudden of an innumerable multitude, nothing was to be perceived. You couldn't find them. You couldn't see them. They were none. They were gone. But only remaining was the dust and the smell of smoke. This is coming soon. And we're preparing you, Yehudi, you, Yasharal, for this time of great judgment by our Messiah, our kindred Messiah, our Yahusha. When I saw this, I was afraid. Verse 12, afterward saw I the same man, say the same man, come down from the mountain and call unto him another peaceable multitude. And there came much people unto him, whereof some were glad, some were sorry or sad. Some of them were bound, and some brought of them that were offered, sacrificed, or another word would be they were killed for the truth. They were offered. Then was I sick through great fear. The prophet says I was so sick. It was just a sight to behold. He goes on to say, and I awaked and said, thou hast showed thy servant these wonders, in verse 14, from the beginning, and hast counted me worthy that thou shouldest receive my prayer. Now, how do I get to the topic about no rapture, but perseverance? This is the next verse, next couple of verses down. 15 says, show me now yet the interpretation of this dream. So now let us share this with you. No rapture, but perseverance. In verse 16, for as I conceive in mine understanding, woe unto them that shall be left in those days, and much more woe unto them that are not left behind. And we're going to explain that to you. 17th verse, and they that were not left were in heaviness. Now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days. You're living in the latter times, saints of the Most High, which shall happen unto them. and to those that are what? Left behind. We're going to talk about you want to be left behind. And I know that some is very awkward compared to what we've been taught, but there's an explanation for it. And let's get into it. Verse 19. Therefore are they come into great perils. Who? Those that have been left behind. And many necessities, like as these dreams declare. In verse 20 it says, yet is it easier for him, listen to this, yet, verse 20, is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world and not see the things that happen in these last days. In other words, those who have gone on before us, it's better to be here to see what's coming upon the earth than those who went before us. Why? It's best because you're going to see the wonders of the Most High, which is beginning to see them now. You're seeing them now. You're seeing them in the pestilence. You're seeing them in the storms. You're seeing them in the winds. You're seeing them in the flames. Go back and look and see what is going on. He says that he has, when he speaks, there's a blast of fire, flaming breath, sparks, and tempests. You can see the earth splitting. It's on fire beneath. Hell is enlarging itself. You can see the volcanoes. You can see them popping one at a time, sometimes two or three at a time, in various areas and regions of this earth. You can see the magma. You could see it, and it's becoming more prevalent as I speak. You can see the winds. They're angry. Waves are angry. Fire is angry. And when you see it, know who sent it. So I'm going to go on. We're talking about there is no rapture. We're talking about that we would be blessed to remain to see the handiwork of the Most High. It's the same was in Egypt when our people observed the wonders of the Most High against Egypt and its Pharaoh. They were there to see what Yah was doing for his people. Those that had passed on were not given that privilege to be a part of that, to see it. And Yah says, you're the blessed ones, the ones who have been left here to observe it. I'll go on to say this. He says, I think I left off at 23. Let's go back. Yeah. Okay. 16. 17 says, for they that were not left were in heaviness. And 18, now understand I the things that are laid up in the latter days, which shall happen unto them and to those that are left behind. 19, therefore are they come into great perils. Oh, we're supposed to be here for great perils. Yes, we're here now. The viruses, storms, tornadoes. We're here. Floods. These are great perils. Locusts hopping from continent to continent. And many necessities, needs, wants. Many necessities means great. Great necessities. Like as these dreams declare. Verse 20, yet is it easier for him that is in danger to come into these things than to pass away as a cloud out of the world. In other words, to die out of this world, or to pass while we sleep. And not see, here's why, and not to see the things that happen in the last days. It is a privilege and an honor to see these things coming to pass. Many of us died and never got to see the hand of the Almighty in this way. That's what he's saying. Everybody talking about Christianity speaks of being caught up, caught away from all of these things. That's not, you're not going to be caught up out of them. It's a blessing to go through them. God's going to take care of you. And you're going to see the reward of the wicked with your own eyes. And that, my friend, my brother, my sister, is a blessing. Because my grandmother didn't see it. My great-grandmother, who was a slave, didn't see it. But I see it. You see it. And you're blessed to be left behind. Let's go on. It goes on to say, and he answered unto me and said, verse 21, the interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. Only Yahuah gives us revelation of his word. I liken his word, like I've said before, to a grocery list. If I write a grocery list for someone and said, go pick these things up for me, they'll go, and more than likely they'll bring back everything I probably don't quite want, because you don't know how much sugar I wanted, you don't know what kind of potatoes I wanted if I didn't list them exact. Well, the word is like that. It lists things, but only the set apart spirit can tell you exactly what he means. It goes on to say, the interpretation of the vision shall I show thee, and I will open unto thee the thing that thou hast required. 22, whereas thou hast spoken of them that are left behind, this is the interpretation. Make no mistake about it. Verse 23, he that shall endure the peril in that time hath kept himself. You're going to endure the peril that you see going on right now. You're going to keep yourself through it all. They that be fallen into danger are such as have works. So he's saying you're here for a purpose. That's why you're here. Not only to see the reward of the wicked, but there are things that Yah has planned for you to do. And faith toward the Almighty. So you have things to do, and you have faith in the Almighty. You don't have to go nowhere when you got faith. You don't have to be caught up out of the trouble if you got faith. Because Yah said he would protect you. He would keep you from that arrow. He would keep you from that pestilence. He would keep you from that coronavirus. He will keep you in the midst of all these troubles. You got to trust him. Now that might be something hard. That's why he says faith is needed. He goes on to say, know this, therefore, that they which are be left behind are more blessed. Now I'm reading this from the scriptures. Are more blessed than they that are dead. Well, I'm so glad she went on ahead of me because she don't have to go through all this. You're the one that's blessed because you're here to go through it. And to see the hand, the mighty hand of the Most High. What if all the Israelites, Yisraelites in Egypt felt that way? Well, I'd rather be dead than see what he's going to do to Pharaoh. I'd rather be dead and gone on and not see what he's going to do to Egypt. Ah, no. He wants you to see. Because in seeing, it establishes you. In seeing, it builds your faith. In seeing, it imparts boldness to you and understanding and revelation unto you. You need to see what is coming upon this earth. Consider it a blessing. How long do I have, sister? Oh, I got plenty of time. All right. Well, we can go a little further then. Let's go on. So we're going to read 24 one more time. I want you to make sure you get this. Know this, therefore, that they which be left behind. Now, we've been told by all these books and authors that you don't want to be left behind. You don't want to be left behind. Oh, yeah, we do. We're going to be left behind because we're going to walk out of here, y'all. We're going to be escorted out of here just like Lot was. Huh? Lot was escorted by angels out of Sodom. Okay? You're going to be escorted out of here, so don't worry about that part. You're going to go, but you're going to go to your new land. But let me tell you this. When I say new, renewed. Let me go to here. It says, are more blessed than they which be dead. We're the blessed ones because we're seeing these things come upon the earth. So don't look at things and cry the blues. Look at things and says, wow, our Father's keeping his word. All right, 25. This is the meaning of the vision. Whereas thou sawest a man coming up from the midst of the sea, the same is he whom Yah, the highest, hath kept a great season. It's been over 2,000 years since the resurrection of Yahushua, our Messiah, a Messiah, which by his own self shall deliver his creature. So, we being creatures of the Most High, Yahushua, has come to what? To save us. And he is coming to save us in a most dramatic fashion. Powerful, powerful fashion. Which by his own self shall deliver his creature, and he shall order them that are what? He's going to give commands to those that have been left behind. I want to see that. Well, don't you want to see that? He's going to be here giving us orders, giving us commands, telling us what to do and how to do it. Hallelujah. If people could wake up and come back, they would, if they knew what they had missed. 27. And whereas thou sawest that out of his mouth there came as a blast of wind, there it is again, fire, storm. Let's say that again. Blast of wind, fire, storm. Those are the three things that this earth is being hit with right now. And it's only getting stronger. And, verse 28, and that he held neither sword, again we say that, nor any instrument of war. He didn't need it. The word is the word. If the word, and not if, the word is what spoke everything to existence, how powerful do you think that is? Something to think about. That, he says, but that the rushing in of him destroyed the whole multitude that came to subdue him. In other words, just his entrance was so powerful, is so powerful. People are going to melt down and disappear. It's just going to be that powerful. It goes on to say, oh my, my, my. I don't know about you, but that's so exciting to think about. It goes on to say that this is the interpretation, verse number 29. Behold, the days come when the Most High will begin. I want you to underline begin, to deliver them that are upon the earth. And he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. Begin to deliver. Do you understand what that means? It means it's a process. That our deliverance is in process. All right. Egypt went through a process. Do you know sometimes there were 2 years or more between the plagues or more? Moses and Aaron didn't show up and do all these with instrument doing all of these plagues in 1 day or 2 days or 3 days. It took years, and we don't understand that. This is a breakdown of what has been, and it's a process. Well, our deliverance is also a process. A process. So he will begin to deliver them that are upon the earth, and he shall come to the astonishment of them that dwell on the earth. And one shall undertake to fight against another, city against another, place against another, one people against another, one realm against the other. And the time shall be when these things shall come to pass, and the sign shall happen, which I showed thee before, and then shall my son be declared. Then it's going to be complete chaos. Then my son will be declared, thou whom sawest as a man ascending. That same one you saw ascend will be that same one that they will see again. And I think at that point we're going to close. We're going to close. I have about 2 minutes. I want to pray. Father, it is something to have thought something all your life and then recognize the fact that Yah had a completely different plan than what was interpreted and given us. And so, Father, we just ask you to send the Spirit of reconciliation and understanding and revelation out to your people, and let them know that you have decided to make a stand against the Pharaoh of our day, against the Egypt of our day, and that it is a blessing to see the things that you are doing. And we don't in any way revel in the misery of others, but we do revel in the promises coming to pass. And we thank you, Father, that you have given us that mind and that heart to wait upon you and your timing and not push anything forward or try to back anything up, but to trust you explicitly from A to Z, from first to last. It is you that are bringing these things to pass. We give you all the praise, honor, and the glory, for it is no rapture, but perseverance. Amen. And to you, Salama.